week on South Atlantic Pro Wrestling, you saw Paul Jones take on the Tennessee stud Robert Fuller. The Pit Bulldogs collide with the Fantastic. You followed the saga of Curtis Thompson and saw a special guest appearance by six-time World Heavyweight Champion Luthez. This week, the 340-pound Texas battleship Colin Orsack challenges the U.S. male, and in the main event, War Eagle Chris Davis teams with America's own Ranger Ross to challenge Pit Bulldog Spike and the Man-Eater. Hello, wrestling fans. Frank Dusing here at ringside, and we've got wrestling action starting in the ring. An hour of excitement today. War Eagle Chris Davis in the ring right now against the White Knight. White Knight jumping in early. Davis taking over very, very quickly. This is a very, very unusual evening today, ladies and gentlemen. It is a night of challenges. We have three special challenge matches. War Eagle Chris Davis challenged by the White Knight. Now, Davis is going to do something very unusual today in that he is actually going to wrestle twice on the same television taping, and I don't know that I've ever seen that happen before. The White Knight challenge, I don't know if this is a ploy of Robert Fuller's, if the White Knight was sent by Fuller to challenge Davis or what, but the point is, War Eagle Chris Davis, not a man to back down, certainly not backing down now, as he is taking on the White Knight later on in this very same show. He is going to team with Ranger Ross to take over on a very unusual duo, not of the Pit Bulldogs, but a Bulldog Spike and the Man-Eater. So certainly Robert Fuller figuring very, very heavily in this special challenge night. And in the third of our three special challenge matches that you're going to see today, the U.S. male Curtis Thompson takes on a newcomer to South Atlantic Wrestling, but not a newcomer to you wrestling fans who've watched this or have been watching wrestling. It's mostly count of three. The Texas battleship Colin Orsack. 6'6", 325 pounds, and he is challenging the U.S. male Curtis Thompson. So it is a night of wrestling excitement and challenges on all sides, and we are just back and forth and underway. White Knight, very little known about him. Of course, everybody knows about War Eagle Chris Davis from Robeson County, North Carolina, 276 pounds, former high school All-American, standout in football, track, and in wrestling at James Madison University. Won several bodybuilding contests, played a year of pro football, and now, of course, turned professional by the great nature boy Buddy Rogers. And he is meeting the challenge today, and that is in the form of the White Knight. But the important thing to remember, of course, is he will wrestle a second time today in a tag match against Spike and the Man-Eater. And that is a mysterious situation, Spike and the Man-Eater versus Spike and Rex. White Knight with a drop kick and control with the cover. 1, 2. You saw right there a hook of the leg. Now, that, of course, shows a little bit of good wrestling by the White Knight. But as strong a man as Davis is, you can't just hook the leg. You've got to tie up that upper body because the man has tremendous upper body strength. If that was an error of the eyes of White Knight. Davis starting for a suplex, planning instead for a side salto. War Eagle Chris Davis. Boy, oh boy, does he look good. Training regularly now with Ricky the Dragon Steamboat. We're coming to you today from Wade Hampton High School in Greenville, South Carolina, raising money, the #1 fundraiser, South Atlantic Championship Wrestling, South Atlantic Pro Wrestling, raising money for the Wade Hampton Wrestling Team. And we are excited as we can be about being here today in beautiful Greenville, South Carolina. I know on the open you happen to notice my colleague Gene Ligon here has sure gotten a whole lot prettier since last week. Actually, Gene's not going to be with me this week. I'm joined by the lovely Miss Day, one of our great world-class supporters. Oh, look, a man can get lost in those eyes. Look at the camera, darling. A man can get lost in those eyes, folks. I'm glad she's with me today. Anyway, back in the ring right now, it's the White Knight being held in a predicament by War Eagle Chris Davis. Davis using his weight, 270-plus pounds, to wear the White Knight down. The Knight doing what he has to do is get back to his base. Over top, nope, holy mackerel clothesline. And that should spell the end. The Knight very close to the edge of the ring. That's, I'm sure, is why Davis is not going in for the pin. White Knight apparently out on his feet. War Eagle Chris Davis sending him in for the ride for a second time. Knight over the cross. Up, power slam. And War Eagle Chris Davis does that as well as anybody right now going. Once again, Davis continuing to pound and assault. As I said earlier, I'm not sure where the White Knight came from. We've seen him wrestle before. We know that he's not normally a member. He's not normally a member of the stud stable. But the fact that he did challenge out of the clear blue War Eagle Chris Davis leaves one to wonder that if Robert Fuller is not somewhere in the back of all of this. certainly it is unusual for a man to wrestle twice, but that's War Eagle Chris Davis for him. You know, if you tell him that there's a dollar bill on the other side and there's a 6-foot wall between you, you got the choice of going over it or going around it or going through it. Big man from Robertson County will go through it. There's the dance, and he's not dancing for rain. Boom, on top of the head. War Eagle Chris Davis administering punishment to the masked man. Setting him up. Here it is. He's got him over top. He's got him set for the drop. On this, the 100th anniversary of the massacre of Wounded Knee, it looks like the Indians are making revenge. 1, 2, 3. Your winner, War Eagle Chris Davis. And we'll be back with more wrestling excitement from Fantastic Connection right after these commercial messages. A great day of wrestling excitement. You know, the Fantastics are one of those rare teams, one of the very, very few teams who have ever actually snatched a 1-2-3 over the Nasty Boys, over the Pit Bulldogs. The Pit Bulldogs, of course, won the South Atlantic Tag Team Championship by defeating the Nasty Boys, and I guess that's why they were on my mind. And these two fellas right here, Bobby and Jackie Fulton, talk about an exciting duo, and let me announce them to the house crowd. From the City of Angels, combined weight 456 pounds, Bobby and Jackie Fulton, the Fantastic! And they are indeed just that fantastic. As the lovely Miss Shea sounds the bell, and we are ready for wrestling action. Yeah, everybody wanting to come over and hand their robes over tonight. I don't blame them one bit. Bobby and Jackie Fulton, of course, they are men with a mission. They have their minds set on the Pit Bulldogs, Rabid Rex, and Psychotic Spike. And I tell you what, ladies and gentlemen, I do not envy Tommy Landell and Mike Rex, because Tommy Landell and Mike Rex are in the dubious position of being the scapegoats for the Fantastics. You know, we saw Brother Jackie Fulton skull drug, I guess that's what they call it. Skull drug, I guess that's what they call it, where they hung him. They actually tried to lynch Jackie Fulton, and fortunately Jackie able to hang on, Bobby making the save, and Jackie is okay. But they did beat the Bulldogs, and that is a very, very important point. The Bulldogs' shoulders were pinned for the count of 3 for the second time. So certainly if there is a legitimate contender to the throne of the South Atlantic Tag Team Championship throne, it has to be these two men right here, the Fantastic. You see Bobby Fulton going to work. Bobby Fulton using a little psychology and a big right hand, and Tommy Landell putting it in reverse. Holy mackerel, did you see him back up? Looks like he had 4 speeds in reverse and 1 forward in case Fulton attacked from behind. Goodness gracious, Hollywood Tommy Landell. Spending a little time gone with the people. That's a mistake. I wouldn't turn my back on Bobby Fulton for all the tea in China. That is one crafty young man right there. They have defeated a lot of much, much larger opponents. When I talk about much larger opponents, I've seen them defeat teams like the Fabulous Freebirds. I've seen them defeat the Road Warriors. I've seen them defeat the Midnight Express. I mean, these boys, now those are some awesome teams, and I'm not saying they beat them every single time, but you're looking at 2 young men in there who have beaten teams like that, and that tells you a little bit about the credentials of these 2 fellas right here. Plus, bear in mind, they are brothers. And you know the old adage, ladies and gentlemen, blood is thicker than water. Want to say a special hello to Charlie Majors and all our friends down in the Bahamas. As holy mackerel, you see Tommy Landell taking a beating. Starting now, the folks down in the Caribbean, down in the Bahamas, enjoying South Atlantic Championship Wrestling. We'll start to get a lot of letters. Get letters in from all you fans watching us across the nation on Channel America. Send us those cards and letters. Let us know what you think. If you have a dream match, tell us what it is. If you've got an opinion on what's happened, hey, tell us what it is. My name's Frank Dusick, D-U-S-E-K, D is in dirty, U is in United, S is in sexy, E is in equality, and K is in Knights of the Round Table, and I'm available all the time. Send it to Post Office Box 221269, Charlotte, North Carolina, and just let me know what you think, because I want to hear from you. As I say, it is a night of challenges still to come on this. War Eagle Chris Davis making a second appearance on TV as you saw the tag with Jackie Fulton in position. A nice spin under arm drag, or duck under arm drag, as Gordon Foley would call it, and still controlling the tall man, Mike Rex. A shot to the stomach, a knee lift, a la Mr. Wrestling number 2. This is the kind of teamwork that I talk about. This is what makes the Fantastic the team that has beaten the Pit Bulldogs twice. The fact that they work as one. They think as one. A little step over, use the legs for a takedown, another classy little wrestling move. And you're going to see a lot of these classy wrestling moves from this team. The Pit Bulldogs, on the other hand, are a brute team. They specialize in percussion-type moves. They specialize in not what I would call an organized offense. They attack your legs, they attack your midsection, they attack your back, they attack your head. Their game plan is just to beat on you until they demoralize you or hurt you. These fellas, on the other hand, come at you with wrestling, and you'll see wrestling moves. There, what a way to get out of a headlock. You use a little drop toe hold, put the knee, and of course you don't get the benefit of seeing that. He put his knee against the back of the knee of the taller man and just fell him like an oak tree. And now, working on the arm is Bobby Fulton. Bobby Fulton, of course, started wrestling at a very young age. Only now approaching the age of 30, and already got almost 13 years there as a pro. That makes him have one of those rare combinations, and he has youth and experience. Another man in that situation was Terry Bam Bam Gordy, who actually wrestled his first professional match at the age of 15. So he had a great deal of experience in a very short period of time, and that's the same case here with Bobby Fulton. Mike Rex finally showing a little offensive rake of the eyes. Sending Fulton into the right. Rex going, oh no, looky here. Looky here. I saw Mill Mouse just go for this belly to back suplex. This could be it. 1, 2. Then Bobby Landell to make the save. Went up over top, going to use the standing torture rack that Mill Muscatus made famous. Unable to hook it on the tall man. Immediately slipping back into the belly to back suplex. That was fantastic wrestling and counter wrestling right there. It looked like a chess match. Boy, this Jackie Fulton is learning right and left. Unbelievable. Straight in the chase. Oh, what a pretty smile and a pretty yes that was. Right now, a crooked head scissor, another one of those old-timer moves. Jackie Fulton showing an amazing repertoire for a man with as little experience as he has had. Into the corner, setting him in for the whip. Into the corner, Rex, reversal. Here comes the boom with the elbow. And Tommy Landell caught sleeping over on the side. Mike Rex and Tommy Landell. I'll tell you what, their mothers aren't going to wonder what happened to them. They're going to wonder how they got away when this is all over. 1, 2, but not quite 3. I think Bobby Fulton's been making trips to Mexico. I swear I'm seeing moves I haven't seen in a long, long time. Oh, you hear him. You hear what he's saying. Bulldogs, look at this, Bulldogs. He's wrenching up on that arm. Look at it. Notice the tricep against the tricep, putting the pressure on the shoulder. Bobby Fulton taking a shot at breaking the arm. He sure is. He's got that stiff. He's even got the elbow bent backwards. This man is open for business right now and talking about Bulldogs the whole time. Listen to him. Mike Rex hanging on, not giving up. A lot of credit has to be given to Mike Rex because he is in a world of pain right now. Finally, the only way he could escape it was to get to the edge. You hear this crowd chanting, break it, break it, break it. They want blood. They want to see the fantastic win the South Atlantic Tag Team Championship. Fulton showing finesse, showing balance, showing leverage. This is why a good small man should beat an average big man right here. Balance and leverage, ladies and gentlemen. Balance, leverage, and conditioning. Those are the 3 keys in professional wrestling. Those are the 3 keys in any sport. Balance, leverage, and conditioning. If Hank Aaron didn't have balance, didn't have leverage, didn't have conditioning, he would never hit the 700-plus home runs. Here it is, the big drop over top. We've seen this before from the City of Angels. Here he comes out of the sky. Boom! Tommy Landell covered, and it's all over for Tommy Landell and Mike Rex. Let's announce it to the house crowd. Ladies and gentlemen, your winners, the Fantastic! When I first came across the Tennessee mountains, to come over here to Carolina, South Atlantic Wrestling gave me the opportunity to not only sing to you, but not only sit down and tell you some important things about the greatest state in the world, Tennessee, but they also gave me the opportunity to be able to speak my piece. And now I got just a little bit of time to do it, and you better listen up to me very careful out there. I want everybody in that other dressing room to listen up clearly. Fantastic, you want a piece of these belts right here? You better know something, boys. It's not going to be easy to get, because now you better charter yourself a room in the nearest hospital when you come to try to get these belts, because it ain't going to be no play. You know what I'm talking about. Curtis Thompson, you're backstabbing, you're good for nothing turncoat, you're a liar, and I'm sure you're a thief. Son, what you're going to do is you're going to pay for every bit of your problem. You might as well team up with Jones, because you can go in the hospital bed right next to him. What do you think about Thompson?
Curtis Thompson. Every time I hear that name, it makes me sick. Ever since you came to the stable, you've caused us nothing but problems. I finally found a solution to the problem. We've officially set a bounty on your head, Thompson, and the only way I see fit to collect that bounty is right here. We call it Skull Dragon. We're going to wrap this collar around your neck.
Fantastic. No better, boys. No better. You know about Skull Dragon. You know what the man's talking about right here. We're taking you down.
We are back at ringside for wrestling excitement. War Eagle Chris Davis and our true American Ranger Ross. And look at this here capacity crowd here in Greenville. They love these two men right here. War Eagle Chris Davis and Ranger Ross. Let me announce it to the house crowd real quick. Ladies and gentlemen, from Ackworth, Georgia, at 242 pounds, welcome a great American hero, Ranger Ross. And from Robeson County, North Carolina, he weighs 276 pounds, War Eagle Chris Davis. War Eagle Chris Davis and Ranger Ross, this is the second of our three challenge matches. They'll be taking on the reigning South Atlantic Tag Team Champions, of course, the Pit Bulldogs. And in our third challenge match tonight, it's the U.S. male Curtis Thompson against the Texas battleship Poland Orsack. And look, coming down the aisle now, ladies and gentlemen. And now this is what I was talking about. This is indeed an unusual duo. I made the mistake of saying the Pit Bulldogs, but it will not be the Pit Bulldogs. It will be the Bulldog and the Maneater. Again, to the house crowd. And their opponent, fighting out of the stud stable from New Jersey at 245 pounds, one half of your South Atlantic Tag Team Champions, Pit Bulldog, fight. And at approximately 300 pounds, Robert Fuller presents the Maneater. And this is a unique duo. I don't know what is in Fuller's mind. We would have all thought that he would have sent Rex and Spike since they are the established tag team. And now, look at this, joining at ringside, number one, Paul Jones, coming out to counter Robert Fuller. This thing may turn into a six-man tag. Referee Byron Richards trying to get a little control here. You got Fuller on one side. Jones has come out on the other side. You know, Rangers and Stud Stable have been at each other for a while. I guess he's going to stay at ringside. It looks like he is. Paul Jones staying at ringside in the corner of Ranger Ross and War Eagle Chris Davis. And we got the Maneater and Psychotic Spike. Ladies and gentlemen, we're wrestling. Only on South Atlantic Wrestling would something like this happen. Goodness gracious. Well, we are underway, and it's Ranger Ross and Psychotic Spike switching arm drags, full arm drags, and twists. You'll again see the contrasting styles here. Ross, very much a finesse wrestler. He, of course, a former member of the United States Armed Services, has been in Panama, has been in El Salvador, has defended our country, has the, I don't want to say the advantage, but he has been tested under fire. He has been fired at by the enemy, and you know what is in his heart. And, of course, War Eagle Chris Davis, you take a look at that young man, and you know that he is used to conditioning, he is used to sacrifice. They are, for the most part, finesse wrestlers who can mix it up when it becomes necessary. And what they're facing is not a finesse team. If you think it's not a finesse team, right there is the brains of the team, Psychotic Spike. Now, what does that tell you? That tells you that this is not going to be a finesse team. This is going to be a team that's going to try to beat you up. Spike is going to be in there, and he really is psychotic. Of course, the Maneater, you know, 3 or 4 generations ago, his folks weren't even, his ancestors weren't even walking upright. I mean, they ate Captain Cook. They were cannibals 200 years ago. So, although he is civilized, I mean, you can take him out in public, but I don't know. Only Robert Fuller would come up with one like that. Spike sending him in for the right arm, or hip toss, rather. Look at that. Gee whiz, what a counter that was. Spike sent Ross across, gave him the big, tall hip toss. Ross, the veteran that he is, immediately spun and used the heel, the spinning and the heel sweep. Took it right up from underneath him and just stopped the counter right there. Because you know Spike, give the devil his dues, is well schooled. He had a second move ready. But that heel sweep used by Ross completely screwed up his chain of thought, his chain of thinking, and stopped it right there. And so there was no real damage done to Ranger Ross. A rake of the eyes, a punch to the head, and once again it's Spike sending Ross in for the ride. Oh, yeah. Savant kick to the jaw. A spinning savate kick to the jaw, and Spike dropped on his back, and now it's Spike being sent across for the ride. Drop kick. Look out, here comes the man-eater. No looking out for it. Ranger Ross was looking for him. Ranger Ross drop kicking everybody in sight. Man-eater looking for somewhere to go. That's the wrong place to go. He's standing there between Tavis and Paul Jones, and that's a mistake. Good gracious, keep him away from us over here. Hey, now watch this chair. Stay here now. Gee whiz. This is a very uncomfortable position to be in. I know a lot about these Samoan boys. I managed offense Zika. I was associated with Samu and Fatu of the SSP. Peter Maivia, I had the honor of knowing. Holy smoke. I do know one thing about these people. If they are your friends, they are your friends for life. And if they are your enemies, they are your enemies for life. And I would not want the man-eater to be my enemy for life. Thank goodness I know a little bit of Samoan. I just hope I know the right words. Once again, Spike showing a little bit of cunning. Now the tag to the big man, and this could be where the damage begins. The man-eater, 300-plus pounds from out of the South Pacific, the Samoan Islands, American Samoa, I am told. I'm trying to tell it. Why don't you just worry about the wrestling matches? Let me worry about the commentary. I can handle it. Been commentating almost as long as he's been wrestling. Man-eater over top, 300-plus pounds, and goodness gracious, was he caught there. He was just caught flat-footed and sent for the ride, and here comes War Eagle Chris Davis. And Davis and Ross doing a little double-team action. Really and truly working well together as a team.
Double-teaming going on out there.
It was done within the count of 5. Hey.
That can only happen in South Atlantic.
Well, by golly, that's where we are. Thank goodness. You know, I sure do like my job when people like him aren't around. Holy mackerel. Yeah, maybe if you stand over here, Paul Jones, I won't have to put up with Robert Fuller on the other side. Paul Jones walking in over here. Now, wait a minute, guys.
Wait for him to make one wrong move, Fuller. You make one wrong move, Fuller.
I don't know if you folks can hear what's going on or not. All right, guys. You're both out here in seconds. You're both out here in seconds. Let's keep it in seconds now. Paul Jones, you know, the story about the South Atlantic Heavyweight Championship, of course, held up on the controversial decision with the referee Leroy Ramsey. So there is ill blood between the Rangers and the stud stable from start to finish.
Where'd they get this referee over here in the first place?
Well, I tell you what, they didn't get him from Tennessee. You can bet your bottom by golly dollar on that. Well, ladies and gentlemen, we're going to need to have to jump in and pay the bills here. We want to bring you all of this match. So we're going to jump in right now, and we're going to take a quick commercial break, and we'll be back with more South Atlantic Pro Wrestling right after these words about wrestling coming up in your area.
From JG Communications, Ali, Foreman.
You get in your corner. Jones is in his. You just stay over there. It's been nonstop with Fuller as well. We're going to try to keep this thing apart. Fuller in one corner, of course. Paul Jones in the corner of the Rangers. Fuller taking a deep shot. Jones heading around. Referee Byron Richards getting over there to stop it. Richards, of course, didn't see it. If he did, this thing would be over. But I understand Paul Jones' position. It is certainly a frustrating spot to be in. If he complains to the referee, though, he's distracting Byron Richards away from the duty at hand. And the duty at hand is to keep the man-eater and psychotic Spike from double-teaming on Ranger Ross. And you can see War Eagle Chris Davis just waiting to get in. Davis dying to get into the ring. And so far, Ross unable to make that tag. I will have to give the devil their dues. I thought perhaps this team of Man-Eater and Spike might not be that good of a team because they haven't worked together before. But they have turned out to be very well. Fuller is a lot of things, and many of those things start with our four-letter words. But one thing that Fuller is, he is a ring general. Belly-to-belly suplex. When I say they have no wrestling moves, they come up and they give us one. Goodness gracious. Fuller is a lot of things, but Fuller is a ring general, and he is a teacher. He teaches go from out of the sky like a Samoan nightmare, and nobody home. Ross with the tag. Ranger Ross with the tag. Here comes War Eagle Davis. Davis, a series of right hands, and the set stable members flying everywhere. A body slam of the 300-pound man from the Samoan Islands. Fights the dirt like a giant whale. Up and over top. Power slam. The big man from Robinson County, not caring how big they are, he's telling the Samoan giant. There's a single leg pickup. Step over into a spinning toe hold. It looks like he's going in for the figure four. No, staying with the spinning toe hold on the big man. War Eagle Chris Davis coming in like a house on fire. Oh, my goodness gracious. this past week marking the 100th anniversary of the massacre at Wounded Knee. And War Eagle Chris Davis certainly making up right now for all the Indians and all the problems at Wounded Knee by taking it out right now on the stud stable. And there's the tag, and once again it's Psychotic Spike into the ring. As you see, the Tennessee stud, Robert Fuller, giving instructions. Fuller always in charge in the ring, always in control. He is a ring general. On the other side, though, you have another ring general in Paul Jones. Jones, though, a different type, not nearly as... Look at this. We've got a four-way action in the ring. In one side, you see Ross and Chavis. The other side, Ross and Spike. On the other side, you see Chavis and the Man-Eater fighting it out. Referee Byron Richards needs to get control of this situation, and he is trying, does not want to disqualify this match. He wants to, as Gene Liggett would say, let the boys play. Oh, there's a meeting of the minds, and I think Psychotic Spike a little worse for wear on that one. He's spotting 60 or 70 pounds for the big Man-Eater. And once again, it's Ross in the corner. Up over top, Psychotic Spike being backdropped. And this thing is just a melee. Referee Byron Richards trying desperately to get some control. Davis setting him up for the finish. It looks like, no, here comes Rex. It's Rex in the ring, and that should signal the end of the match. They're calling for the disqualification. The bell is being rung. Calling for the disqualification. Paul Jones has hit the ring. Paul Jones is in on top of Rex. Now Robert Fuller's in the ring, and this thing is turning into a complete melee. Robert Fuller, it's 4-on-3, Stud Stable and Rangers. It's 4-on-3, and you see Fuller working over Paul Jones. Jones and Fuller, the bad blood goes for months, it goes back for years, and it's right now. Paul Jones being held by Rex and just being massacred by the Tennessee stud, Robert Fuller. Jones out on his back, Davis being double-teamed, the Man-Eater taking shots at him, Spike taking shots at him, Rex taking shots at him. There goes Davis out of the ring. Ranger Ross being assaulted. Oh, look at here. It's an Indian deathlock. Fuller sitting in the Indian deathlock. That's the hold that won the U.S. title. That's the hold that won the U.S. title. Somebody break the hold before they break his leg. Somebody please get in there. The Indian deathlock is in and set. We need help. Someone please get in. Referee is gone. Davis is gone. Oh, no. This could be it for the career for Paul Jones. Curtis Thompson's come to the ring. It's Curtis Thompson all over top of the stud stable. Curtis Thompson all over top of the stud stable. The hold is broke, but Jones may be hurt. Curtis Thompson has come in and is helping out. Unbelievable. Thompson is like a one-man army in the ring. It's incredible. Curtis Thompson has come to the ring. Somebody check on Jones. Somebody please check on Paul Jones' leg. Unbelievable. When it was a 4-on-3 situation, Davis thrown out of the ring, Ross thrown out of the ring. They went to work on Paul Jones and definitely tried to break his leg. Using his own hold, the Indian deathlock, they tried to break his leg. If it weren't for Curtis Thompson, ladies and gentlemen, I don't know if Paul Jones would be trying to stand or not. Unbelievable. Thank goodness that Curtis Thompson was here. I don't know, ladies and gentlemen, what to say. Well, right now, we need to go and find out more about championship wrestling coming up at your area. When we come back, the U.S. male Curtis Thompson takes on the Texas battleship Colin Orsack. And boy, oh boy, I hope Paul Jones is all right. Ladies and gentlemen, we'll be back right after this.
Ladies and gentlemen, I'm joined here at ringside by Jones's Rangers, and first question is, Paul Jones, are you okay?
Jamie, let me say one thing right now, and I want to make this perfectly clear. You talking about breaking bones. I was paid by the United States government to break some bones. So you talking about breaking bones, I got a bone on my own. Yeah, baby. Yeah, you got that bone. Yes, you're talking about a man's career. You're talking about ending a man's career. Paul Jones, let me tell you, it comes down to the nitty-gritty. Curtis Thompson, me and you have never walked on the same side of the road. But I'm going to have to stick my hand out to you, brother. You're a big help. Thank you.
Something certainly has to be said, because Curtis Thompson was the last person in the world anybody expected to come to the aid of Jones's Rangers.
Hey, I am the last person to come to Jones's aid myself. I didn't think I'd do it. But when I see Robert Fuller out here running his mouth with that Man-Eater and the rest of this stud stable, I don't call him a stud stable, I call him a judge stable. Let me tell you something, Robert Fuller. You think you're going to put that Indian deathlock on me, you got another thing coming. Hey, you know, money talks and and Robert Fuller, you're going to walk, because I'm going to take that belt. And anytime Paul Jones needs a little bit of help, then you better watch it, because a U.S. male will be there.
Let me tell you something right now.
And we're back, ladies and gentlemen, our third challenge match of the evening, already in the ring. We saw a glimpse of him at 340 pounds, a newcomer to Texas battleship, Colin Orsack. And right now, the man of the hour, the U.S. male Curtis Thompson. I'm being joined at ringside right now by Coach Jeff Field. Coach Field is the wrestling coach here at Wade Hampton High School for the Wade Hampton Generals. And Coach, welcome to South Atlantic Pro Wrestling.
Well, thank you, Frank. It's good to be here, and good to have you here at Wade Hampton High School.
Well, it's great. Of course, one of the great #1 fundraisers, raising money for the high school here, for the wrestling team. And we got a pretty good wrestler right here in, matter of fact, let me announce it to the house crowd. Ladies and gentlemen, from Newland, North Carolina, 257 pounds, the U.S. male, Curtis Thompson. I understand you had War Eagle Chris Davis in the weight room the other day working out with a few of your boys.
Oh, yeah, he came down, he visited with us. The boys really got a kick out of seeing Chris, like 4% body fat. And I don't believe any of the guys have ever saw anybody with that lean before, that hard.
I think they got another one right here in the U.S. male, Curtis Thompson, huh?
Oh, yeah, he looks pretty tough. He looks like it'd be a good heavyweight for him.
He sure does. Well, you know, Chris delivers a very, very good message, too, to the youngsters about staying in school and staying away from drugs. And, of course, that's a message that I know that you try to portray to all your athletes as well.
Yeah, we do. In wrestling, it's a little bit more important than in the other sports because you have to be in such good physical condition.
That's exactly right. Of course, wrestling, I talked about it before, about wrestling, football, baseball, basketball. Look at here. Look at this. Let me back up a step. Holy mackerel. Boy, is this young lady getting herself a thrill or what? She'd have to pay $5 for that at one of the local clubs, wouldn't she?
I guarantee Chippendales or something like that.
We were talking about the team force. Orsack attacking from behind. Talk about a heavyweight, coach. There's one right there, the Texas battleship. 340 pounds this big man is. He's pitching the U.S. male around like a rag doll.
I guarantee you, up high hill with a big leg drop, and looks like he's working Curtis over pretty good.
Yes, sir. A little bit different here than in your amateur wrestling. Of course, in your amateur wrestling, you're always responsible for the safe return of your man to the mat.
Yeah, you can slam him in amateur wrestling. You have to cut him through the crotch, across the back, and across the neck. But you can still slam him.
Look at here. There we go. From behind, we're pulling the tight. Schoolboy 1, 2, and not quite enough. The big man from Texas on his feet.
Look like a half cradle in amateur wrestling there.
That sure is. You got a pretty good wrestling team this year if they all stay healthy, don't you?
We pretty good. We beat one of the big 16 schools here in Greenville County, and we're doing pretty good.
Well, by golly, that's great. I know I happened to come down one day during one of the practice sections, and it looked like the walking wounded. Coach here just had an operation on his neck. He had the brace on his neck, and one boy had, what was it, ribs? One had the bone ribs. Gee, you must train them awful tough there, Coach.
Also had 2 separated shoulders. It's just that when you get into the room and you get that one-on-one contact, I mean, they're ready to go.
They are. Talking about being ready to go right now. It's the U.S. male Curtis Thompson carrying it to the Texas battleship, Colin Orsack. And the question I have to ask myself, holy mackerel. Before I'm the ring. Yes, sir. And I'm so glad the spectators got out of the way. The question I have to ask myself is Orsack another one of these coming in for the Tennessee stud, Robert Fuller? Is he out? Is he, in fact, another hired killer for Robert Fuller?
He could be. He's a big boy. And, you know, Fuller's been recruiting some of the big guys here lately, especially the man-eater Samoan.
Oh, that's exactly right. That man-eater, what an impressive individual. If they ever could teach him to wrestle, would he be dangerous? I'll tell you what, Coach, we need to jump in and pay the bills. You know about paying the bills.
Yes, sir.
So we're going to jump in and take a quick commercial break, and we'll bring you to this battleship. The size of a battleship, and finally the big man goes down, and you saw the whole ring.
Okay, that's a big guy. But, you know, Curtis doesn't even look like he broke his limb, right?
Well, there again, that's that cardiovascular training. He's like War Eagle Chris Davis. You know, you get these young boys. Like I've told Gene Ligg on a many occasions, Coach, if I had that body, I'd still be wrestling.
I'm telling you and I both. I tell you, I wouldn't be having any spinal operations. I can tell you that.
Well, we are just It has just been a day of excitement. We've had 3 challenge matches. War Eagle Chris Davis challenged by the White Knight. Davis again wrestling a second time. Did you see that clothesline?
Frank, is the ring going to stay together with this big guy in here?
I'll tell you what, Coach, I know about these rings. Somebody asked me that the other day. That's 4x8 Douglas firm. It ain't going nowhere.
Chris just pulled his pants up. Big boy, he's having a little problem keeping his pants up. He's short, huh?
Thompson carrying the battle to Cole and Orsack right now. And Orsack definitely needs to use the weight to his advantage. If he's going to do anything now, he's going to have to wear down Thompson. And the way to do that is make Thompson carry his weight.
Oh, yeah, he needs to lock up, start leaning on Thompson, get him over in the rope, start making him carry his weight.
Take off one of those 5 points of balance, either one of the legs, one of the arms, or the head, and get him down on the mat where he can wrestle with him.
That's also one of the first fundamentals of amateur wrestling. You teach if you take 1 or 2 points of balance away, you got the man whipped. Big body slam by Curtis Thompson there. He slammed the big
340-pound body.
Telling you, that's great there.
You're looking at a pretty awesomely built individual right there. He snatched him up like it was nothing, huh?
I'm telling you.
Hey, no spinal surgery going on in there.
Oh,
Let's
no.
go get Orsack.
You know, this afternoon I took Chris into the weight room up there, and he told me, we got talking about each other's maxes and what we used to lift. He said, I used to press about 525 pounds, but I backed off a little bit.
I think he could press more with his hat and coat on than I could roll across the floor.
Man, you and I both.
Maybe we'll have a team weightlifting, you and I together.
So, hey, I don't know if it would take it twice.
Well, it didn't take it twice right now for the U.S. male Curtis Thompson. And, of course, he is carrying the battle to Cole and Orsack, assuming that Orsack is a hired assassin for the Tennessee son of Robert Fuller. So,
well, it makes sense. How long has Orsack been in there, South Atlantic?
Well, Orsack has never wrestled in South Atlantic.
Okay.
Now, I have seen him before. I have seen him during my days in Dallas, Texas, so I am familiar with him to some degree. He was a hitman for Skandor Akbar at one time. So, of course, you know Skandor Akbar and his reputation. There are, Fuller has a lot of friends. He is very close friends with Gary Hart. So there's no reason to doubt that he and Akbar are not in some way, shape, or form associated as well. So this could, as I say, very well be a hitman for
you know, the Playboy Gary Hart, he's had a reputation for bringing in Hatchet Man all along.
Well, that's where the man-eater came to us, from the Playboy Gary Hart. You're exactly right. Maybe we ought to make you a recruiter for your You'll get you some man-eating heavyweights anyway.
I'm telling you. I've got 5 heavyweights. They all saw Chris Davis and were well impressed.
I don't blame him. Look at here. Set him up. Special delivery. Can he do it is the question. He's got him up. That should be it. On a wrestler man, on a smaller man, it's all over. I think Orsack's unconscious. There's the count. It's a cocky cover. 1, 2, 3. Ladies and gentlemen, it is all over. Your winner, the U.S. male, Curtis Thompson. We'll be back with more right after you can find out how you can bring South Atlantic Pro Wrestling to your hometown.
Attention, members of
For an exciting hour of South Atlantic Pro Wrestling, you saw 3 special challenge matches. You saw something today that you will very rarely ever see. That was War Eagle Chris Davis wrestled twice. First, he beat the White Knight. Secondly, he tag team with Ranger Ross against the man-eater of all people and Psychotic Spike, and they tried to put away number 1, Paul Jones. Next week, of course, we're going to see that same man-eater, War Eagle Chris Davis and Ranger Ross in action again as a tag team, plus Robert Fuller, the Tennessee stud, puts on his tights. And ladies and gentlemen, in a main event, the tag team titles on the line as a fantastic take on the Bulldogs. And right now, the man that everybody has questions about, the U.S. male Curtis Thompson. Curtis Thompson, like I said earlier, you were the last man anybody expected to come to the aid of Paul Jones.
Yeah, it's like this. You know, I was the last man to even think I'd come to the aid of Paul Jones. So, you know, I get out here and I hate to say it, but I kind of like these people cheering for me and clapping for me.
It is kind of a nice thought, isn't it?
Hey, it's very nice. And let me tell you one thing. Anytime this man needs a little bit of help, you know, I'm not in the Rangers for him, but anytime this man needs a little bit of help, he ain't got nowhere to look but one place, and that's to the U.S. mail.
Well, Paul Jones, of course, the first question on everybody's mind, and that is a great offer from a great man. And the first question is the knee okay? The Indian Deathlock. We know the Indian Deathlock won you the U.S. Heavyweight Championship and the World Tag Team Championship. We know it's an effective hold. It was obviously put on very well by Robert Fuller. I thought it was going to be the end of your career.
It was. You can tell this man has done some planning, and he's been working on this Indian Deathlock so he could put it on me. And I tell you one thing right now, Frank, if it would have been for Curtis Thompson, my leg would be broken right now because there's no way that anybody would have pulled Fuller off of me in that ring. And I tell you one thing, Frank, Right now, I know that Curtis, if I need his help, I can call on him, along with the rest of the Rangers. You take Ranger Ross, Chris Davis. Brother, we have an Army in 1991. We're going to take it to Stud Stable. And I guarantee you one thing. Stud, you know that your Army is falling apart. Everybody is going down. They're falling like dominoes. And we're just getting stronger.
Well, ladies and gentlemen, 1991 certainly going to prove to be a very, very interesting year as Jones's Rangers and the Stud Stable continue to go at it. Curtis Thompson, the U.S. male, not maybe officially a member of the Stud Stable, or Jones's Rangers, I should say, but certainly someone that you can count on in a pinch. For Paul Jones, for the U.S. male, Curtis Thompson, I'm Frank Dusick saying, whatever you see South Atlantic Pro Wrestling, don't miss it. Be there.